that I've learned in my time in D.C. I'm from California, and I want to share with you the walk of my students who've been labeled emotionally disturbed, and particularly pay close attention to this. Research suggests that students who live in environments like Baltimore and D.C. are 10 times more likely to experience post-traumatic stress syndrome than someone who's actually in war. Now, we can argue that statistic, but let's bear this in mind. Those who are in war have been trained. Those who are in war, I will not say chose it, but many of them had an idea which direction to go. And they've been given the resources, or some of the resources. Let me not speak too generously on their behalf, because they're also misused, right? But they've been given some of the resources to fight this war. But a child who's still coming to their own formative identity has not had the opportunity to equip themselves on how to handle this warfare, right? So when bullets are flying and they're ducking, hitting the bed in their home, when mama says get down, how safe can you be? Right? When you're losing peers at an alarming rate and you have enough RIP t-shirts to wear one every day of the week, when do you get a chance to really prepare yourself for this war? And then if anybody does not believe that this is actual war, let's look at the casualties. As evidenced by the number of casualties, this is a war. And we are now in a safe space. We must take this safe space and our beliefs and our hearts and our practices and take them to places where people feel unsafe. And bring them into safety. So this piece simply speaks so loud. Expressionless faces tell a story of their own. You see, this is a place where boys become men before their minds are fully grown. And at night the streets they roam, protecting corners like homes. Inheriting beef from bigger brothers, they mimic what they've been shown. They've been taught to use pride as means to disguise their fears. Ain't cried in years, yet they'll tattoo tears on their faces. 18 and proud because they thought by now they'd trade places with an early grave. And the letters R.I.P. are engraved within the layers of their skin. And what follows the name of boys who never became men. And ironically, they still stamp that on their mans. Although they're only boys to you and I think I finally understand. Whether life expectancy is 25, 15 means they're fully grown. With no one aging to a gray beard of wisdom, they deal with these things on their own. You see, the black plastic bags blowing like tumbleweeds tell a story of their own. And you can find them in the hood near the corner that the liquor store is on. But every once in a while, they blow for miles down the block and mysteriously become part of the memorial site where that young boy's body was dropped. You know, right there. Right there next to that tree. Right there next to that tree with that R.I.P.T. Little teddy bear, nearly covered in leaves. His boys come and they leave to show signs of respect. As a token of their memories, empty bottles are what's left. And they drink some and pour the rest. Like, damn, what I got left? Feel like I'm living in hell now, so what in this hell could be next? Meanwhile, one block over, rivals battle it out in graffiti. This is as confusing to the American public as the hieroglyphics of Nefertiti. And the row houses with torn up windows just goes to show no one really wants to live in this ghetto. Poverty and more value decay. No room for our children to play. God help us is what we pray. Culture of poverty is what they say. Will somebody run and go tell those pseudo scholars that this is not our culture? This is evidence of the barbarism they have taught us. The transatlantic slave trade still scars us. And these R.I.P. tattoos are not our infatuation with death. It's the evidence of untreated trauma. And it appears this is what we have left. This is how we cope to survive. When hope is no longer alive, we push God to the side and rely too heavily on our pride. But a prideful heart eventually weighs a man down. And that burden has gotten so heavy that his knees now begin to touch the ground. But don't worry, because now he's in the posture of prayer. And the one verse is very taught us as sex is covenant with the Savior. You know, Proverbs 11 and 2. Pride comes before shame, but wisdom is with the lowly. Or what about the 121st Psalms? I lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. Sleeping sons of Jacob, rise up. What will you tell your sons and daughters? As God delivered Moses to the Red Sea, tell them how he delivered you through troubling waters. Because I'm often asked, what made me choose to be a teacher? I say, because ain't no laws to make them go see the preacher. But somebody gotta reach them, provide them with some guidance, before the streets infect them, neglect them, and leave them violent. At night I close my eyelids and pray to maintain my vision. Because it is God that guides my vision to make a difference. To the injustice I witness while working within the system. Suspensions and expulsions are sending up to the prison and city jail. They say it's hard to find one God within their many hells. They grow dreads just to rebel. You may know him well. He broke the rules in all the public schools. Devalue education, but it's clear he ain't no fool. You should see him after school, run the streets like an athlete. You know how to add and subtract when it comes to that cheese. You know more than his ABCs when he's ducking them D's. You know more than his ABCs when he ducking them D's. Converting ounces to grams when he working with powder. And can stretch it like a chemist. Just give him an hour. Never read in class, but can read between the lines. Said if it ever got out of line, he bodied somebody for dollar signs. His hood is always on his mind. Corrupt from what he sees. He entered the game for need, but was overtaken by greed. That's why his favorite ballers never succeed within their schemes. How did life become a nightmare? $1 and a dream.